Okay, profile mullions. So, I mean, profile is something you guys know already, so it's nothing new there. It's just that there's another family for mullions instead of for sweeps or rebuilds. So you're going to say new family. And I'm going to select profiles at the end with the mullion option here. So this is probably familiar to you. The only thing that it's quite new is that it says interior and exterior, and this is the center front back reference plane, meaning where the glass panel is going to be located. So I'm going to do very fast to create a couple of lines to represent the mullion detail. So I'm going to do a rectangle, another rectangle here, and I'm going to just, I don't know, I'm going to eliminate these two, and I'm going to start creating reference planes, which is how you should always work. A couple of reference planes for the top and the bottom, not in angle. There you go. And I'm going to start putting dimensions, DI for dimensioning. And as you know, you can locate several dimensions and press on IQ to equalize that. You can do the same here and say equalize, so they become the same. You can also say align, AL. Is this tool here, and you can say to this reference plane this line and then lock it. Okay, but we probably need a couple more reference planes, so I'm going to create this one here. Okay, I'm going to draw some lines. Let's see if this works. Okay, I'm also going to select these ones and mirror them according to this axis. Okay. And I need to start, again, as I said before, aligning things. So this to this reference plane, this line, lock. 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 To this reference plane, this line, no? Lock. We probably want to put some dimensions between the reference planes. These two should be probably equal because the glass panel is going to be offset from the center, so that's why I place equal. And then they should have all of them parameters. I'm going to say DI as in dimensions to place another one here. And again, this is a little bit like just exaggerated. You could definitely have all these parameters. You can have less, but they're always useful. And the problem is they also create some problems of constraints being removed, etc. But let's see if it works. Let's select that one and say add parameter, and these parameters are automatically under the dimension group, so that's good. And we're going to call it, let's say, mullion width 1. So that changes the title automatically. I'm going to select this one, add parameter. I'm going to paste because I copied the previous one, say 2. And then we need also, by the way, you need another dimension here to put it here. We need this one to be another parameter. Let's call it, instead of W, let's call it T1. It's in thickness. Another parameter, T2. And the last one, T3. Okay, so the issue here is not so much that we add the parameters, that really things are moving properly without removing constraint, and this is where the issue comes. If you go to the parameters tab here in the left, you have all the parameters you have settled, and you can change them to test them and see if they work. Okay, I say 2 feet and obviously came very high, so let's say 7 inches comes down to that point. Let's say here 2, see if it works. That's crazy. 2 inches. Good. Say 3 inches here. It's moving that line over there. And the widths are in this other direction, 4 inches. That changes properly. And 3 inches. That changes properly. Okay. So all of these are what is called flexing quite properly. Let's also think of how we can create types, because we haven't talked about types. When you click on family types here, you can actually create new types by pressing on new, And you can leave the new type here. Let's call it like 3 and 4, for example, 3 and 4 inches, 4 inches for the W1 and 2. Okay, but you can say new and call it like 4 and 5 inches and change these parameters, meaning 4 and 5 inches, and say apply. So that means that you're adding different types here, which is what we were searching for. And you can create another one which could be 5 and 6. These are titles that could be called hello again, not a big deal. And you could just change those parameters according to that new type that you generated. 6. I'm going to just change those to exaggerate a bit. 3 and apply. Okay, so everything changes. That means that when I load into the project our profile, by the way, you should obviously save and put it in the desktop and call it a MULLION new. Okay, I'm going to load it into the project, and obviously because I don't have anything going on here in the project, feels like nothing has happened. I'm just going to create a wall, and it's going to be a current wall, so we see in a simple example what's happening here. Okay, I'm going to go to the 3D. This current wall has nothing to it, so I'm going to add some grids. Remember, you can also place one segment grids, both vertically and horizontally, so you can kind of accommodate different alternatives to your current wall. It doesn't have to be the classic perfect grid. Okay, and in the section of mullions, you can always say here mullions and select all, or you can just select your current wall and actually duplicate the current wall so you have your own. Let's say south facade new. Okay, so you have your own current wall that you're dealing with uniquely. Like it's like totally independent from any other one. Okay. I don't know what happened with that line. Anyway, edit the type, and we have several options. Obviously, if it's exterior, interior, foundation, etc. Current wall panel, we can change the panel type. Not something interested right now. And we have, as we know, the grids, but we have placed them manually. You can place them here, organized according to a perfect grid configuration. And here's where you can search for mullion profiles. So, for example, for border, if we load it, we should have that here. Wait a minute. Let me see. Mullion. Let's say in one grid line here. We select the mullion by tabbing. Say edit the type here. We can duplicate the mullion and call it new, or let's say facade south mullion. Okay. And under the profiles, you can search for the new one we just incorporated. Mullion new 3, 4. Remember, these are the types. 4, 5, 5, 6. Hello. So you can click any of them and say OK, and that one has changed. Obviously, you can just allocate the entire set of mullions here. You say all grids, select the types, facade south mullions, and all of them will be changed except these ones which were placed before, but you can change them individually as well. There we go. There you go. Okay. So a couple things that you can do extra in terms of mullions. One of them is, you can always select the mullion and kind of use these two commands to break the joins, so you start configuring how they end up their relationship with another mullion. So you normally don't want to have that detail showing at the end. So you can select the mullion itself by either tabbing or selecting, say break join, so it's continuous. So you can kind of start cleaning up how they look. No, for example, this one wouldn't be the best solution. This one either, so you can select this one and break, so it comes like that, etc., etc. No? So that would be a cleaner way. Another thing is that if we go to the plan, we come in very close, and now I'm in thin lines. That's why it looks so thin. This is your panel, like tab, and that's the panel. You can even see it better if we make it shaded. What is blue is panel, so we obviously have a problem here. No? Well, first thing we need to notice is that this line that appears when you select the current wall, that line is the exact line that we use to generate our mullion, the center axis. No? But how come the panel is offset to one side? Well, the idea is that if I select all the panels, so I'm going to use the filter, and I'm going to select only the panels, and I say edit type, they actually have an offset by default. So you might want to have it as 0 if you want to have that offset eliminated, or what you could do is incorporate this offset to the design of your mullion. No? So I'm going to just make it 0. I'm going to go to the plan again, and now the glass is exactly center, but I'm going to say DI to dimension the panel, and this is a 1-inch glass panel. Okay, and we had a 2-inch gap in the middle, so we probably want to go Control Tabbing and changing the mullion thickness to here, which is parameters number 2, and we make this 1. Okay, we save, we load into the project, we override, and we should have changed that automatically. Let me see if we go to the 3D. Mullions. Should have changed, huh? Let me see. Anyway, that should have changed because this is actually a 2-inch. Oh, I think the problem is that we actually didn't change it in the types, no? So each of the types is different now. Only the 5 and 6 hello, that's a good point, has the 1 inch. If I go to the 4 and 5, that's still 2 inches. So you have to be careful with the types. You have to change all of the parameters for each of the types. So you're going to apply that. And for the 3/4, you also want to change that to 1. Okay, save, load, override, and there it is. Now it's a perfect detail and a perfect mullion. Now the only question is, can we go a little bit crazy with the horizontals or other ones? Well, you can start eliminating some components here and be a bit more creative in terms of sun exposure or so. And you can say create lines and create a bit more of a little monster here, no? You can select these ones and mirror them. Sorry, mirror. Okay, as long as they're close, which is good, we can save this and load into the project. And there you have your detail now. That could be related to, you know, a sun block or something. You could have the horizontal ones with that section, and the verticals could be another different type, no? For example, this one's could be a different type of mullion. Let me filter out the grids. We can select a rectangular, so you could have those coming out like, you know, sun shading parameters or so, or you can select any other one, no? As you know, so you can say give me a 2.5 and 5, etc., etc. So you can really combine, create your own sections, horizontal to block the sun. That section is a little bit too abrupt, I think, but it's not so far away from some of the mullions that exist out there, no? Okay, I think that's mullions and profiles there.